What's up, everyone? Showdown breakdown time. We got the Saints at the Rams. Thursday night football action. With me to break it down, as always, Bobby Moneybags, Bobby Millions, the multi-time Millie Maker winner himself. And we got an exciting one here, Bobbywow. I like it when the Rams play. There's a lot of weapons that I enjoy utilizing on that Rams offense. Should be a fun one.
Fun. Yeah. It's fun. It's a fun Rams offense. A lot of playoff implications too in this game. So there's some playoff reasons here to watch. The Rams have been really good lately. Like Stafford, this offense as a whole hitting on all cylinders. You got Cooper Kupp kind of back into the centerfold as the guy on the Rams. Kyren Williams doing it all. It's going to be fun. I think there will be more offense than people might be giving it credit for.
You know, Kyren Williams is effectively RB2 in the entire NFL right now.
He's doing everything. The guy had 35 touches last week. I mean, he's getting 25 carries a week. He's seeing 5 to 7 targets a week. He's doing everything for this
you guys.
team.
So, like, if you have Kyren Williams on your season-long team, you're probably in the playoffs. And I would say, and I'm going to pose this out there to everybody in the comments as well. Outside of Christian McCaffrey, is there a running back you would prefer starting on a week-over-week basis right now above Kyren Williams? I'm genuinely curious. Is there anyone?
I don't think for me. I don't know that you can make the argument at this point.
Yeah. Who knew? Came out of nowhere. Love it. Love that. And for anybody who picked him up in their season-long team, congratulations on the sex that you'll be having in a couple of weeks when you win your league. And you tell your wife, I won my league. And she's like, oh, how much money did we get? And you're like, whatever. But I used it to buy you something. And she's like, okay, I will give you the sex now.
Wow.
That's not how it works in every house. Is that a unique lived experience? Oh, all right.
Free zone.
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm projecting. My bad. Okay. That was me projecting. All right, so let's get into the slate, though. I like this one. I don't like too many turds floating around in the bowl. I want to focus on real players that I know the names of them, and that's what we're doing tonight. Let's take a look at the matchup sheet, and then I got a couple cool things to talk about after. But let's take a look at the matchup sheet here real quick. We'll get into this, and then I do want to mention that I will be doing a Sim Boost tutorial / optimizer setup for DFS Army subscribers who have access to our Domination Station optimizer. After this, we just added the Sim Boost model to our Showdown and to everything. We started off just NFL Classic, and now it's on tiers, it's on everything. So we got we have a lot of power and capability in our hands, and I want to start to go through how to use this stuff. So we'll get into that right after this and a standalone separate VIP breakdown. But as far as this one goes, let's take a look at the matchup sheet and see what we can figure out here. Let me refresh this bad boy as this should be refreshed. I'm just going to make sure we get the latest information. Always takes a second, but basically on the Ram side, we know Kyren is getting pretty much all of the, I hate the blank screen, so I'm going to wait. And then, but we know that Kyren is getting all of the touches at running back. There's really no one else to worry about. Devontae Freeman barely seeing any kind of work at all. Then, of course, at wide receiver, this week we get the return of Tutu Atwell. So we'll have Tutu back, which kind of probably eliminates Demarcus Robinson from interest outside of a little bit of I think he's priced up as if he's not a backup, like a fourth string. So it makes it difficult to want to play him.
Yeah, it does. It's interesting. That spot's interesting just because Robinson has kind of been eating into that WR3 role anyway. Even before Tutu went out, he was out snapping Tutu. He's kind of been like a red zone target for the Rams, surprisingly. But yeah, I think he's over 5K now, so definitely some implications price wise.
Yeah, there we go. So here we go. Here's our sheet. I want to kind of put this back up on screen here, and Yeah, so Puka and Cooper Kupp getting all the touches, and this week we slide Tutu Atwell back into the starting group, which will take away Demarcus Robinson and his hefty sort of snap count. One thing the Rams, they don't run 4 wide receivers almost at all. It's very unusual for them. You don't see that 4th person with snaps. It's just pretty much their main 3. And actually, with the health of Higbee, I don't think that we're even going to see much of Davis Allen. I think it's going to be Higbee. It's just going to be their normal guys. No turds to worry about here other than miracle turds.
Miracle turds.
Yeah, I mean, that's about it. Interestingly, I'm not sure people understood this, but Cooper Kupp and Puka, kind of similar workloads. Last week, it was kind of a bigger Cooper Kupp week. But Puka, do you have a preference between Puka and Cooper? Is it a matter that I always like Cooper Kupp.
I do. I think Cooper Kupp's my guy again. I think he's got the higher floor. He's been demonstrating that recently. He's kind of like, he's become Cooper Kupp again. I think earlier this season it was, okay, can Cooper Kupp ever be Cooper Kupp again with Puka here? And I think he's answered that. The answer is yes. I was looking for like an ownership decrease. I mean, maybe we'll get significantly lower ownership or, at least markedly lower. In Puka this week, we can make some calls that way, but ownership's relatively the same. So to me, I like Cooper Kupp as the guy if I had to choose one.
Yeah. We'll take a look at their salaries in a minute, but yeah, that's about right. I don't think we need to account too much. Like, all right, you want a turd? Like, yeah, Demarcus Robinson come in for a couple snaps, and now at this point, but he's priced too high. He's priced not like a backup.
Pricing is really bizarre on this slate. Like we've got, to me, there's nobody close to min price that should sniff your lineups. There's some guys in the 2K range that are interesting. And then, again, there's some guys in the 5K range that are interesting that normally wouldn't be. D-Rob is one of those guys just because he is a red zone target. Even before Tutu got hurt, he was on the field more than Tutu. And again, it's weird pricing. So we'll see that more when we get into the sheets.
Yeah, kind of fun, actually. I like it because we don't really, especially on this side here, on the Ram side, there's not a lot of turdliness that you have to really account for in this one. So just play like good players and hope that you land on the right ones kind of thing. Yes, Diego is mentioning here that Puka does have a rookie receiving record within grasp. That's a lot of yardage over the next 3 weeks. But yes, that's out there, and we'll see if that team cares about that kind of thing because you need a coach that cares about it for it to matter. If the coach cares, it does matter, but it's pretty rare that they dude, if that's the prop for Kyren,
I'm at 99.9% confidence.
Yeah, is that the prop? Is there a 60-yard rushing prop? That cannot be the prop for Kyren Williams. There is no, I don't know what you're looking at, Dixon Sider, but maybe that's like one of those demons or goblins or whatever on Prize Picks that's supposed to really hit. There's no way that it's 60 for him. It should be more like 76. I wouldn't be at 99% though, but I would have his prop set closer to 80 than 60
yards. I'm 99% for me.
There you go. There you go. Oh, it's an alt. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay. I was like, that cannot be the prop. All right. Saints are a little bit more spread out, a little bit more spread out here. Last week, Olave did not play. He is back this week. Get him in your starting lineup in your fantasy football league. You pulled him out last week. Get him back in. He's playing. Derek Carr trying to prove a point. Not sure what the point he's trying to prove is, but he's trying to prove a point. I don't know what the point is.
He's trying to make the playoffs, Geek. He's trying to get his team into the playoffs. That's what he's trying to do.
Okay. Yeah, so he's back, and we get we get the usual sort of suspects. This Saints team is much more spread out if you look at the there it is. Okay, 88.5. That makes more sense. I'm like 60. Yeah, it's got to be a much higher number. Kyron's number, top guy. So 88.5. That makes more sense. But look at all these players who get snaps, Bobbywow. This team is not like the other.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, everybody getting looks. Everybody getting snaps. Keith Kirkwood out there. Foster Moreau getting more snaps than Jawan Johnson. Foster Moreau getting targets last week.
Foster Moreau getting targets. That guy's getting targets. He's getting a couple targets each week. He was up to 5 last week, and he's cheap. I know people hate him because he dropped that touchdown pass earlier this season, but he's a guy you need to pay attention to as one potential source of value on this slate.
So many tight ends on this Saints roster that are getting snaps. It's crazy. The return of Olave. So last week we saw Shaheed 58%, A.T. Perry, then Lynn Bowden getting in the mix, and Keith Kirkwood. So all of these different wide receivers. Who loses out with the return of Olave?
I think it's Uncle Keith for the most part. He was the guy that got a big boost in snaps with Olave out, and now Olave's back. I think Kirkwood's the guy that takes a step back, but he caught the touchdown last week, so it's hard to say.
What about Lynn Bowden?
Bowden has been getting snaps. He's been operating largely as the WR3. I mean, him and Perry have been rotating as a WR3 since Thomas went down, but Bowden's been, to me, he's been the guy that you would call WR3, which is just very bizarre. I think he was maybe came up with the Raiders like years ago. Feels like a long time ago, probably only a couple years back at this point. But he's been, to me, for all intents and purposes, the WR3.
Yeah, and then of course you've got Jimmy Graham, who just catches one touchdown every week. Can he do it again?
What the heck?
And if he does it, is that enough at 1,600 or whatever he's priced at?
Maybe.
I say it is enough.
I'm team bet Jimmy Graham anytime touchdown. That way, if he burns you, you at least win that bet. But don't play him in DFS. That's where I'm at tonight.
What's the anytime touchdown prop, guys? Give us a look at that.
Yeah, someone take a look.
All right, we're about to jump over to the cheat sheet. I want to mention two really cool things. Number one, if you're not subscribed to DFS Army, I just mentioned the sim boost that we've added to the showdowns and the tiers and all this other stuff. We're adding stuff constantly and leveling up. Our NBA team has been absolutely smashing to start the NBA season as well. I know we're coming to the end of football, but it's pretty much nonstop DFS around here. And in honor of 2024, we are doing a special for first-time DFS Army subscribers, 24% off using promo code 2024. It's easy to remember. We're 2024, 24% off. That is the biggest discount we ever do. And it's across every subscription type, including just the props, if that's what you're into, just to pick 'em games. We've got full DFS, full VIP. Other sites, Bobbywow, all the other DFS sites now are splitting up their payments. So you've got to buy sports individually. No more VIP. No more VIP at some of the biggest name sites. And you know who they are. I'm not going to mention them. Fuck them. I ain't mention them. We don't do that at DFS Army. We try to be for the everyman. Our whole theory has always been average Joes compete on a level playing field with the pros. Our tools, everything we do is built around, and the way that we teach is built around helping average Joes, the newest users, bring themselves up to a level where they can compete on a level playing field. I'm not saying you're going to beat them every time. Listen, everybody wins. DFS is hard. But if you're not on a level playing field, you have no shot. And that's what we do at DFS Army, not just have incredible tools that we all use ourselves, but show you how to use them, which is effectively what I'll be doing right after this on a VIP stream for our subscribers, where I show how to use this new tool. So promo code 2024 gets you 24% off. If you did if you're an NFL only person, do the season long. You're like, what? The season's ending in a couple. It's a 12-month subscription, and we will be hammering best ball and all of that format in the offseason as well. So you could do that too. I imagine a lot of people won't do it, but that as well. It's a really, really great deal. And like I said, other sites, they're now charging $60-70 a month per sport. We're at $79.99. VIP covers everything, including the pick'em, including the Proptimizer, all that cool stuff. So there's no value like this, but we're not just about value. We make it affordable so we could be for the everyman. So really important. Check it out. 2024 promo code. NASCAR will be here soon enough. Brian knows, dude, NASCAR alone. There is no bigger edge in DFS than DFS Army's NASCAR edge. That is the number one thing that we're able to do and get ahead of the field on. So if you like NASCAR, awesome. And if you don't, you should. It's fucking awesome.
I was going to say, there's people watching right now that are laughing, hearing NASCAR, and that was me. Okay, I still don't really fully get NASCAR the way it actually works in real life. But in terms of DFS, I'm excited about it. I never would have thought I would be counting down the days until NASCAR DFS, but I'm telling you.
I'm from Brooklyn.
It's true.
We don't have NASCAR in Brooklyn. Okay, I never knew anybody that was like, "Hey, you're a fan of Dale Earnhardt Jr." I'm like, never once in my entire 45 years did somebody ask me if I was an Earnhardt fan. There's no such thing. And now I freaking love NASCAR, and I enjoy watching it too. As crazy as that sounds, listen, I'll be moving down south soon enough. I don't belong here.
Oh, geez.
Bobbywow, it's.
There's a bomb.
I'm moving south.
Wow.
I don't belong here with these people.
That's not true.
I got to go to the south. I got to go with my NASCAR brothers and sisters. Just fucking putting on I'm just going to, I don't know what the hell you put on. I'm going to get some guns. Doing it. Going to hunt.
Oh, man.
You see me on a hunt? I could see it.
Yeah.
Doing it. Fucking eat a duck that I pulled out from the sky. Hell yeah.
There we go.
Soon enough.
Some pheasant.
Soon enough. Pheasant. All right. What the hell did we go with that? Oh, the other thing I have to mention, as we're going to get to this cheat sheet right now, is the other thing is Sharp app free this week, guys. Everything we do at Sharp app, everything, it is open to the public. All of the models, the AI betting tools, the bet tracking, the Proptimizer tool, the Discord, the picks from the pros. If you're into sports betting at all, or into fantasy football, the power rankings, whatever it is, Sharp app is free, sharp.app, or download the app, Sharp app on iOS or Android. It is totally open. So check it out. Betting tools, all the cool stuff that's there. If you like it, that's our idea. Maybe you'll want to subscribe, but it is open to the public. So check out Sharp app, sharp.app right now. That is our sports betting tools and advice site. Just like the DFS Army, by the way, there's coaches there. We don't just throw you in there with some tools. There are coaches there that explain how to use these tools and how to use all these incredible stuff. And a lot of the tech that powers Sharp app is the same tech that powers DFS Army, the same projection models and all that. We crush the props at Sharp app. Go check it out.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it was free this week. That's big time.
Sharp app free this week, Bobbywow.
That's huge.
Yeah, we want people to check it out because the site is, we're not the best with the marketing, but the tech is amazing and they're crushing picks. We're getting members limited on sports books. So we have a thing. We give you a t-shirt when you get limited. You get some swag. Sorry for the limit, but here's a t-shirt.
I'm seeing that. That's so good.
I feel like it's worth it.
Yes.
I got limited at my sports book, but at least I got this t-shirt. Actually, that's what I think we should put on the shirt. I'm going to make a special shirt for it. That says,
there we go.
I got limited at my sports book and all I got is this fucking t-shirt. Sharp.
Too sharp.
All right. So let's get into the break. Take me through the captain position for tonight, Bobbywow. Cooper Kupp, Kyren Williams, Puka Nacua, anyone else? Or is that it?
Those guys, you could honestly keep it tight with those guys and be okay. I think, there's a case to be made about Olave and Shaheed. I suppose the quarterbacks, maybe to a degree, both have played much better as of late. But to me, it's all about Kyren Williams. I mean, it all starts and ends with Kyren. He's been the usage guy. He's done it all for this team. Getting tons of carries, getting tons of volume, pass catching work. And this is a Saints defense that you can pound the ball against. They have not performed well against the run. I think Kyren Williams could end up rushing for multiple touchdowns today. So to me, he's far and away the top option on both sites.
Yeah, and so much more so on FanDuel. We won't even get crazy with it. Let's get a quick look here at the power ranking sheet just to get a sense of this. Here, this is the Sharp power ranking sheet created by John Statsational Alessia. And yes, you're seeing here that the Rams are projecting for 133 rushing yards in this game. They don't get rushing yards from anybody except for Kyren Williams. It's not like it's the Bears and you got to split it up between the quarterback and the running back. This is all Kyren. Saints have not been very good versus the run this year. I like it. Back to it, though. Of course, the other running back you've got a 4-star on above a Cooper Kupp for you is Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I think Kamara, just in terms of safety, right? Look at that combination of floor and upside. I think Kamara brings that maybe as much as anybody else on the slate. He's a guy that the game needs to stay competitive if we want to see his upside, his ceiling come into play, which I think tonight does. But he can do it all for the Saints as well. When the Saints are doing well, it's because Alvin Kamara is involved, and I think we see that happen tonight.
Yeah, every once in a while, Alvin Kamara will bust out a 3-touchdown game. He's been very good this year. His average score has been spectacular. As a matter of fact, there's an argument that he is the second best running back on the season after Christian McCaffrey, more because of the pass catching prowess than anything else. But he's got a good nice average fantasy points per game number. Third up is, of course, Cooper Kupp. I wouldn't be surprised if any of these three lead. I mean, like, I would have no surprise whatsoever if Cooper Kupp gets you 36 tonight and just easily destroys the field.
No, I would not be surprised either. I think
the
one thing to note is that the Saints have actually been pretty good against the pass. Their pass defense has been better than most people think. And so they could always shut down a guy, not shut down, but they could limit his upside, or like his typical upside might be 35. You know, it wouldn't surprise me to see Cooper Kupp top out around 20, 25 points tonight.
Yeah. But flip side is I think they're a little bit better against the outside wide receiver. And it might be Puka out there. I think Cooper Kupp is still primarily playing in the slot. So I kind of think that talent that they have, the Rams really negate that on a lot of teams because they play Cooper in the slot more often than not, and it just allows them to avoid that elite cornerback on their kind of go-to guy. So plus it's not that hard to run on the Rams, on the Saints. That's the bigger reason where Kyron just sucks in all the points. So it's probably one or the other, maybe both. But hard to say.
I'm not playing. I don't know that I have any lineups where I'm playing all three of Puka, Cooper Kupp, and Kyron Williams. I think you're going to have to choose two of those three guys at most. Yeah,
I agree. I'm going to say straight up, I don't see Matt Stafford as the kind of quarterback I normally want to play as a captain on DraftKings. Much more of a FanDuel play for me.
I don't either. But here's the thing. The last 4 weeks have been insane for Matty Stafford. Have you seen that? I think I put it in there.
Yes.
First 9 games, 9 touchdowns, 8 picks. His last 4 games, 12 TDs and 1 pick. That's crazy. Like he's had at least one or two games where he would have been the nuts captain. And these aren't just like, garbage defenses that he's doing this against. He did this against Cleveland Browns. And there was one other team he did this against. I can't remember who it was, but some legitimate defenses.
Yeah, let's
Cleveland and then Baltimore, I think, was the other one.
He's had some really good games, right? 24, 22, 23, and 19 over the past 4 weeks. So interesting. Let's see here. Cooper Kupp, 28-28, outscores him both, and then the other two didn't. Let's see what happened those previous 2 weeks. That one of those weeks was a crazy tight end game. I think Higbee went off for 3 touchdowns.
Higbee caught 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yep.
That skewed it.
But again, all things considered.
Yeah, here's that third week where Puka. My point is this: that like for every one of those weeks, there was a pass catcher that outscored him. All of them.
Cooper Kupp did a little bit, but again, the $1,500 price difference there. I'm just saying it's arguable. I don't like it. He's one of my least favorite, but it's
No, I mentioned it because like a lot of our guys, and rightfully so. One of the things we've been talking about a lot is if you play 20 max on FanDuel or DraftKings. I don't even think they have it on FanDuel, but when you play 20 max contests, which is the common thing on DraftKings, I recommend choosing one captain and sticking with them, and give yourself a chance to win if you're right. I don't think you have a chance to win if you split it between 2 or 3. You're just not putting enough iterations of that lineup in there. Stafford would not be on my short list of like the 2 that I might want to use here.
Agreed. I fully agree with you. Yes. In that context, yes.
Yeah, I think Puka is that guy that's like the lower end, like surprise you by being the right captain guy. Or Olave.
I thought Puka was that too. I mentioned in the notes, I was hoping we're going to get him a lower ownership. If his ownership was significantly different from Kupp's, that's probably where I would go. But it's not. It's essentially the same.
Really?
So that to me, it was surprising. If it stays that way, I'm not very interested in Puka. If his ownership's going to be 10+% at captain and 40% in the flex, I'd rather drop down to Olave.
It is not very different at all, is it? I'm seeing, you're right here. You're seeing 10% captain, 37% flex, which, these numbers are in a range, and 11% Cooper Kupp, 35% flex. Yeah, that's a tough one, Bobbywow. They're not really giving you much of an ownership discount to go to the less good guy.
Yeah, the less good, right? Where I think his ceiling's probably similar to Kupp's. It's just Kupp's got the higher floor.
Yeah. So Yeah, and the last spot is really Olave, and then when you want to get crazy for the millie, you could go with Rashid Shaheed, who by the way, when he does it, he gets it done. Like when he's a deep ball guy, Rashid Shaheed. He's had a couple of big games, 20 plus points on the season. If he's doing one of those at 7K, isn't quite the discount I was hoping to see.
That's the problem.
Rashid is a $5,600 player, disguised as a 7K guy.
That's why, to me, like if you're gonna do it, you could get twice the field on Rashid. I can't imagine he'll be more than 3 or 4% owned to captain. Slap a 10% exposure on him if you're running out 150 lineups and let it fly, because if he does get there, he's probably scoring really well. To me, with Shaheed, it's either, it's really boom or bust. He's putting up 20 points or he's putting up 6.
My question is, if he gets to 20, is that even enough? Because he's priced so close to, these other guys that you're not saving. Like, all right, he gets 20 and Kyron Williams scores 28. I'm not sure that the 20, I'm not sure that the savings down to 7K is like enough.
It'll
over
create a
6K
slim in savings. I think it might be 20 would be enough.
It'd create like a slim path, but it's not lock buttoning.
No.
For me. It's just creating a slim path. Like
and that's why he's so far down there. Yeah.
All right. So jumping over to the flex spots, I think a lot of the 9K Derek Carr. Sure, I guess.
He stinks, but again, like Stafford, he's looked much better as of late. He had his first 3 touchdown game week of the season last week against the Giants. He could get there. I don't like it, but he could get there.
We're going to have to get into this zone of 6 and 5K because there's nothing going on sub 4K. So I think we're going to have to use a lot of players in this zone, and that's going to make it uncomfortable to make lineups in this one.
The kickers are they're better plays on this slate than they have been maybe all season, and they've been good plays all season. Look at the difference. Just speaking of floor, like let's take a look at the kicker range and then all the way up to Olave. Between the kickers and Olave, no one has as good of a floor as the kickers. No one.
And not just the floor, the projection itself, just the mean projection.
Projection even, yes.
Is just so much higher for these kickers, both of them, than it is for Higbee, for DeMarcus, for Tay-Tays, for Rashid, for any of that. So like the raw projection itself is just significantly higher for both of the kickers.
You will want to be above the field on both kickers tonight. That's where I'm at. And it pains me to say it, but it's true.
Also, just for making a lineup. Unfortunately, I don't love playing 2 kickers in the same lineup, but maybe
you may not have to do that, but it's in play because of the way that salaries are drawn up here. It's definitely in play.
I'm throwing Rams defense in the mix as well. Home defense. Saints not that great of an offensive team. I don't think this is a spot where I think Rams defense is going to do particularly well, but I've got to compare them to the other 38 and below options, and they're not that good. I think my favorite guy down here is Tutu Atwell.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's the one that sticks out for me. 2,800, 20 because in the sub kicker zone, Tutu Atwell is now going to be on the field the whole game. There's no the same way. It's weird. We all liked DeMarcus Robinson last week. Like DeMarcus Robinson in this role is priced at 5,400. That's basically why.
And I agree. I guess to me the issue was before Tutu got hurt, we started to see DeMarcus Robinson eat into those snaps. 2 weeks before Tutu got hurt, Atwell was on the field 40% of the snaps, both the previous 2 weeks, and DeMarcus 60% of the snaps for both those 2 weeks. So there's just something weird going on there that otherwise I would have been very confident in Tutu.
So your thought is even Tutu back will not fully replace DeMarcus Robinson. He will be out there, and now it's going to be more of a split role.
It's a WR 3.5 for both those guys. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, yes. That's a bummer. But again, we don't have a lot of options down here. The other name that somebody mentioned, but this is a little higher priced, is Tyler Higbee. We know Tyler Higbee usually gets a lot of targets most weeks, but it's been rare that he's put it together to the point where he put up a big enough score. Though he did have a couple games this year where all of a sudden he was getting the tutties.
Yeah, the other guy to pay attention to for me is the not sexy name of Foster Moreau. I think he's the guy that makes a lot work, and he's the guy that probably has the safest path to 2 or 3 targets. Now, does that translate to fantasy scoring? Maybe not, probably not, but he's got the safest path to targets in that 2K price range, and he's going to be on the field a bunch. So it's ugly, but Foster Moreau, he makes it work down here for me.
I like it. Is there anybody? I'm with you on Foster Moreau. Again, it goes back to what we saw in the matchup sheet with Foster Moreau shockingly seeing 70% snap counts when no one. I think we all thought it would be Juwan Johnson getting like more action, but it's been Foster Moreau. So yeah, definitely, definitely Foster Moreau down here. Anybody else in this zone that's even mildly of interest? You know, Davis Allen comes in the game a couple weeks ago when Higbee comes out, has a nice game.
Yeah, he's interesting. If you hit refresh, all these are filled. But yeah, I think like Davis Allen's interesting to me. He's probably the more exciting of the two Rams tight ends. But Higbee's going to be the guy. He's going to get the starting reps, and he seems to be fully healthy. So really tough to go with Allen at 2,200. Wish he was closer to min price. Kirkwood had a touchdown last week, but again, you know, we've got Olave back. We think his role is going to reduce back to essentially nothing. So I think you nailed it. Tutu Atwell is really interesting down here. Lynn Bowden Jr. has been getting WR3 snaps for the Saints, even with Olave on the field.
Forgot about him.
And then Foster Moreau. Foster Moreau is the guy for me. The only other guy that people like to mention is Jimmy Graham. And Jimmy Graham has caught a touchdown in 3 straight weeks. I said at the beginning of the show, I don't think you can do it again. But if you can, throw some money on his anytime touchdown prop. I think someone said it's like plus 2,500 or something. Keep him out of your DFS lineups, and that way you can hedge without Jimmy Graham. You get more exposure to guys like Foster Moreau and Tutu Atwell. That's the way I'm playing it tonight. I don't know. What do you think?
If you had to bet Jimmy Graham to score touchdowns 4 weeks in a row, the odds would have been like plus 1 million.
Yeah.
This is like the most long odds thing ever in the history of sports. So yeah, he's been scoring a touchdown each week. The reality is he's scoring that touchdown because they do bring him in on a goal line package, and it's not like the most out of the world crazy thing for it to happen again.
That's what he does.
They have a package for Jimmy Graham at the goal. It's not happening by accident.
No,
he's not in the game when it's not at the goal line. He's not even in he's only there for this one thing.
Now, that said, now that Taysom Hill is more healthy, and he's been struggling with health the last couple of weeks, I think that's been a big factor in Jimmy Graham. I think that plays a role too. We could see Taysom Hill. He's kind of like part of that package at the goal line. When Jimmy Graham elevates, when Taysom is out or he's hurt, Taysom's healthy again. I think that cuts into things too. So, man, Taysom Hill is the most bizarrely priced guy on the whole slate.
I wish they didn't do that. I like playing Taysom Hill, on these showdowns, but he's supposed to be priced around maybe 3,300. When you put him all the way up at 6,600, he's now effectively priced, competing with names that are, like likely to get a bunch of targets. It's going to be hard this week. What makes this slate difficult is below 7K, it gets fucking gross. And
that's the pricing thing. Yes.
Yeah, it gets really gross. And luckily, everybody's working within the same set of constraints. So we all have the same set of constraints. You just can't play all of these studs in the same lineup. So it's going to have to be a thing where you absolutely must play people from this zone down here. And it might be an A.T. Perry getting 3 receptions and a touchdown and 11 points, and or something. One of these guys, or a Tutu Atwell catches 1 pass and that's it. Like, it's not hard to realize we play Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams when they're on a slate. Yeah. Like, that part's fucking easy. I already knew that. It's these other ones that are going to make it interesting, or the combination of kickers. So let's jump over to DraftKings and let's see if we can throw a lineup together, Bobbywow.
Let's do it.
So looks like the most expensive guys, Kyron Williams, Cooper Kupp right behind him. Kamara up
throw
there.
Kyron in. Start with Kyron. Yeah, Kamara's not cheap.
He's so expensive. Are you really playing Kamara over Kyron Williams? No. Here we go. Kyron Williams. All right. Eventually I'll learn how to do a captain. There we go. Kyron Williams. Okay. Now what?
I think I'm going Olave.
Keep it balanced. Olave. Kicker.
Kicker, yeah, go kicker for the Saints. I guess either kicker, but Saints one's cheaper.
Yeah, slightly less. Okay. Olave, Kyren Williams group. We don't have a pass catcher. Love to get Cooper Kupp in here. Can you? Probably.
I mean,
not.
you'd love to have Cooper Kupp and Kamara, right? You'd love to have both those guys in there.
Yeah, you can't get them both. I mean, if I'm allowed to choose one, I would go Kupp over Kamara.
Yes.
But let's see what happens. 4,500. Okay. Actually, I could work with this. So from here, we can't do. We already have a kicker in here, so I think it's Foster Moreau.
I'm going Foster Moreau. Yep.
Oh, and Shaheed.
And then Shaheed. It gets dead. I mean, it gets dead fast after that. That's a lot of Saints.
That is a lot of Saints. That's a lot of Saints right here.
Thirdly Saints too. Yeah, I don't know, like Olave and Shaheed in the same lineup.
Yeah, that does not work.
Doesn't look pretty. So what if you go Kamara instead of Olave? Kamara, and then we see what we got from there. There you go. Now what, you get the other kicker in there?
Yeah, it looks like the second kicker. You know what? Kyren Williams, Alvin Kamara. Now, again, I don't normally like running back versus running back. Like, there's a little construction issue here that I'm not in love with. But I do like how the salary went perfectly for this lineup. I like the full spend. Most people say, oh, you shouldn't spend it all. But I do like the full spend here. I'm going to tell you the answer to this, Dixon Cider. Sharp app is free tonight. It's free this week. Go to Sharp app. Go to the Proptimizer tool, right? It's free. Go to sharp.app, open up the Proptimizer tool, then type in Kamara. And there will be you know what? I'll show you how it's done. Should I show them how it's done? Here we go. Tools. We go. Let me show you a little what we got going on at Sharp app here, right? Check this out. You don't even have to sign up. It's free. But here we go. We're going to type in the name. Kamara. Select him, right? So what did he say? Over 30
receptions.
30 yards, receiving yards, right? Sharp app is predicting 36.39 receiving yards for a mild edge, not a big enough edge where I would bet this, but a mild edge of 10%. Right? That's not a big enough edge, but here's how this is just how it's used. You can select all. So I'm just playing all the players. Right? And real quick, I'm going to just find the biggest edges. Total. You won't like this one, Bobbywow, but it does love the under on passing yards for Justin Fields this week against Arizona. It's crazy. It's not intuitive, but likes it. The under on Jalen Hurts passing yards as well. Look at that. Unders. Colin Sexton over 8.5 rebounds. This is one you want to bet tonight. Total rebounds and assists, Colin Sexton. 8.5 is the number. 12.5 is the prediction. 33% edge. You got to be able to use that. How often does it hit? Oh, I don't know. It hits 40% of the time, so not that often. 30%. Maybe I wouldn't bet that one, but nonetheless, that's how that tool works. Really cool stuff. All right. Sorry.
It's really fascinating.
Sorry for the promotion. But I like this lineup. I think this is all right. All right, let's talk let's talk a little bit of FanDuel. Let's jump over to the Golden Duel, as they say. And Kyren, Kamara, Stafford, Carr, and Kupp as your captain pool. So take me through the MVP pool on FanDuel. I mean, obviously,
not much different. I think other than the QBs getting a slight bump on FanDuel, I think both Stafford and Carr are more in play here. But again, the running backs, Kyren Williams, Alvin Kamara, to me, the two top dogs on FanDuel.
If you had to choose just one to build around, Kyren all day.
Kyren, he's the touchdown guy. He's got the touchdown upside. Yeah. He's like minus 210 to score one. I think he's going to score multiple times tonight.
Yeah. It's just Kyren. You lock in the touchdowns. Matthew Stafford would be my second choice. If I was only going two, I would go Kyren and Stafford.
Wow. Well, because to me, the only way Kamara gets there is as a pass catcher, right? That's where his upside comes from. And you don't get that PPR upside on FanDuel like you do on DraftKings. So it
doesn't do enough. Yeah, he's on the road. He's not a touchdown scorer all the time. Oh, he scored a bunch of touchdowns. He's not a fucking touchdown scorer, okay? They bring in Taysom Hill around the goal line to steal touchdowns. They have all these other things that they do to cock-a-maim their way into the end zone that don't involve giving it to Kyren Williams. As a matter of fact, I'm not Kyren Williams. Alvin Kamara almost never gets the goal line carry. That almost never happens. You know what a lot of people don't know, Bobbywow?
Tell me.
Kamara's large. He's not a small running back at all. I think people think that he's one of the smaller scat backy. He's a pass catcher. He's a larger size running back. People don't know this about Kamara. I think he weighs something in the 230 range. Like, he's not one of the smaller running backs at all.
No.
But they don't give it to him because they have Taysom Hill for that role.
Can I tell you another fun fact? Jamal Williams, who you would think and has historically been a big-time goal line touchdown scorer. Guess how many touchdowns he has this season? 0. He has not scored a single touchdown.
Yeah, not doing it.
So it's not him taking them from Kamara. You're right. It's Taysom Hill. It's Jimmy Graham.
Hill.
They're just throwing the football for whatever reason. It just doesn't make sense.
It's the same Jamal Williams who scored like 14 touchdowns last year on a minimal role with the Lions. Like, it's different. They don't operate in the same way in the Saints, and that's fine. But just we need to acknowledge
just
how
is what it is.
Play.
Yes,
that's what I was talking about with the Jimmy Graham thing. I don't think that play that they're running to Jimmy Graham goes away. Like, they're still going to have it in their playbook and they'll call it. Will he catch the ball on that fade every single week? No. And is he going to get more than one chance at it? Probably not. Yeah, 17 last year, down to 0 for Jamal Williams. So you get the idea.
Saints.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor is playing, dude. He's in. I don't know why we're talking about that in this chat, but he is in this week. All right. So on FanDuel, let's see here. After the captain pool, Taysom 10K. Oof. You can get there. You touchdown scores.
He can get there as much as any. That's the thing. Look at the other guys. Everyone is priced 10K and below. Everyone. I mean,
you know who pops for me down here? It's Higbee. Yeah. I think Higbee is the piece that makes the lineup work, and then you just got to hope and pray that he lucks into the touchdown.
Look at Foster Moreau at 5,500. Guys, I think Foster Moreau is the key to the slate tonight. I think he is. It's probably going to get you 0, but I think he's the key.
Could be a 0, but
he's a linchpin.
I wish I could make fun of you on that one, because then it would definitely come true. Like, if I started ripping that pick, you know how when I do that, then it always happens. Like, it always comes true. I can't rip it though. I agree with it. The dude is on the field way too much to not do anything. You can't. It's weird with these tight ends on the Saints, but like, if he just gets a touchdown at 5,500 and a 70% snap count tight end could definitely score. But of course, it's going to be Jimmy Graham.
He's 2K. So like, in theory, a 5 from Foster, a 4 could get you there, because you could get up from Rashid Shaheed or from Taysom Hill to Puka Nacua for that same price, from him to Tyler Higbee. It's just pricing is very weird, you guys, tonight. I love it. It's great for tournaments.
It's gonna make it fun to build. Let's jump over to FanDuel and just kind of see what it feels like to put a lineup together for this thing. Pick a contest here. Here we go. Okay, so we'll see what it feels like to put a lineup together for this thing. So I think the very obvious top guy is Kyren, but I don't care if you go with Matthew Stafford either, or Kamara. We're down to 11K already. I think the other problem is there's not a lot of leeway here. So you said Foster Moreau.
Yeah.
We could do Foster or we could do Higbee Smalls.
Higbee's 7,500.
Let's see what.
Talk about Benny Skro.
Benny Sko. I remember him. Benny Sko was a thing for a couple of weeks, but
he was. I mentioned this real quick because people are asking. I mentioned this in the notes. This is a spot where, again, you are going to see Derek Carr's FanDuel MVP ownership dip below 10%. He's going to be in the single digits. He can get it done in a game like this. Do not sleep on him if you're trying to take down a tournament.
You literally
this is
said
a very
this.
Interesting spot.
I think it was like last week's breakdown, and it was another shitty, and it ended up hitting, like, I don't know if it was Easton Stick or whoever the hell it was.
I think it was AOC. There's been a couple. There's been a couple since the initial time we talked about it, and it's happened multiple times.
Yeah,
because that's how FanDuel works. We just have to pay attention to it on FanDuel. I think Matt Stafford, we could see his ownership dip below 10% in this spot.
Yeah,
with Kyron and Alvin Kamara getting so much of the attention in Cup. So don't sleep on that in tournaments as you're trying to get unique. Like, when you can get unique by putting a quarterback at MVP, that's a spot you want to be in. So take advantage of it.
FanDuel massively favors the quarterback above all other positions as MVP and showdowns. It's just the way the scoring works. Second is running backs, but they are a solid second to the quarterback position. Think about it like this, Bobbywow. If you have, and this is one of the things I talk about, the season-long thing is nice, and I play a lot of super flex, 2 QB formats. And actually, DraftKings for a minute had 2 QB super flex also. I think it's gone. But they tried it out. And there's never a time when you don't want to play a quarterback in the super flex. Even Easton Stick or some CJ
by the way,
Beathard.
He scored well.
Yeah,
okay, maybe CJ Beathard.
Yeah, even a Beathard. No, I'm saying it worked out with Stick. But like, even going into the week, you always go with a quarterback in that spot, because the worst games for quarterbacks usually score 9 to 12 points. And running backs, that's a common game for a running back. Like, that's not the worst game. You're kind of like, all right, I got a 12.
Pull up Carr and Kyron's stats. What were Kyron's stats last week and what were Carr's? What did Kyron put up on FanDuel?
Kyron 22.
What did Carr put up? I'll bet it's close.
Carr stinks, but maybe. Yeah, 20. So it wasn't that far off. And we were like, oh, Kyron, amazing, the best player ever. And Carr's cheap and whatever. He almost hit it. He almost beat Kyron, and Kyron had a great week last week.
That's all we're saying. Got to pay attention to it. Just calling it out.
It takes effectively a ceiling game from a running back to beat a regular game from a quarterback. Always play quarterbacks. But in this case, we're playing Kyron Williams, which is counterintuitive to everything we just said. Maybe I feel like now I want to switch it to Stafford.
Well, no, I think Kyron's still the best play. Oh, we're just saying, in terms of leverage, if you're trying to get leverage in tournaments, that's an interesting spot. Yeah. That's all.
The rest of this lineup, I think you're definitely wanting to plug in a kicker. I prefer the Rams kicker, probably the home kicker, but let's go the cheaper guy. Bailey Group, fine, $14K, and now this is where you could finish it up with 2 more players that you like. Look at this. Look how the salary worked out. Just, you see this? I would like to get like a Cooper Kupp in here and a Stafford or something like that, but I'm kind of stuck with Carr, Olave as the last 2 and some money left over. Let's see what happens here. I put Carr. I don't like Olave, but I'm going to do it.
That's the way to go. That's Olave. The way to go. I go Carr and Olave. That's how I would do it.
In this lineup, that's how it should go. And then we can maybe upgrade off of and put another kicker in there.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think it's a fine approach. I do think there's a way to do this where I get Stafford in here with Kupp.
I don't hate separating. If you have to make a delineation, I don't hate separating Kyron and Stafford. They're fine in the same lineup together, but I think we could see Kyron vulture the Stafford touchdowns, which would make a big difference.
That's fair.
If Kyron runs 2 in, that hurts Matty Stafford significantly.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I do see a version of this where I can get to Kupp and Stafford, but I would have to go down to Foster Moreau instead of Higbee.
Yeah.
So if we went to Moreau, just for a more studs look, but in this case, probably a 0 from Moreau. Like, that's the most likely outcome for Moreau, or like a 2 or 3. But in this version, I can actually go and just say, okay, now I'm going to play Cooper Kupp and or even Kamara. I can get Kamara in there.
Yeah, don't forget about Kamara.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, okay, maybe that version with Moreau, Derek Carr, and Kamara. So I kind of like this one too. Could get Kamara in there, but I would favor Stafford over Kamara for scoring purposes. Naked Stafford.
Yeah, I don't. Naked Stafford with Kyren is pretty hideous.
I know, but just a few different ways. Anyway, it's a few different ways to build here.
It's an intriguing build.
I like the first one for like a tournament build with Kyren doing the scoring for the Rams and Carr, but I don't think this is going to be that kind of game. I could also very much see a dominate. So let's just talk about like a few different ways this game could play out. For me, the most likely way it plays out is like a Rams just putting a beating on these guys kind of way.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Not to say that that's like what the odds say, but the Rams are at home. It's Thursday Night Football. The Saints, not that good of a team.
When you say a beating, like a 27-10 type game,
like a 27, even 17, where it's never really at risk. And the Rams take an early lead, they come back a little bit, but it's never not like a great game to watch. The Rams kind of dominate. They're comfortable. Saints do their thing, but just not too little, not enough offense. I could see that. I'll tell you what I don't see. I see there could be a close game. We could see some back and forth. I don't see like a Saints domination here at all.
No, I don't think so either. I think to me, it's going to be more than likely a competitive game, like a 21-17 type of game.
What's the Bobbywow?
These two quarterbacks. I don't love it. I'm not like, not totally all the way in on it, but Foster Moreau, I think, makes a lot of things work. He's the guy I'll be overweight on, as gross as it is.
Yeah. Couple of programming notes, guys, before you scroll away from this. Like I said before, for DFS Army subscribers, give me about half an hour or so. Let's call it 4:30 start. I'm going to do just a little 20-minute optimizer setup stream where I'm going to kind of show how to set this thing up and use the new Sim Boost, which is a simple and logical thing to use, but I want to kind of show how I would do it. That's number one. Number two, it is a massive week of football this week. Guys, 2-game slate Saturday. 9-gamer Sunday main. Sunday Night Football. Monday 3-game. I love the 3-game Christmas Day. How are we covering all this, Bobbywow? I'll tell you. We will be back with tournament tactics tomorrow, and we will cover the 9-game main slate during tournament tactics. I'll do a separate breakdown of the 2-game slate for Saturday night. Not part of tournament tactics, or maybe I'll get the crew together for that 2-gamer as well, but we'll do a quickie for that. Then for coverage of the Monday 3-game slate, that's the trickiest thing for me and for all of our content creators, because who the hell wants to look at Monday when there's a giant Sunday slate that you're staring at? So we're going to wait until kind of Sunday evening, and we'll do a Monday 3-game slate breakdown. I may solo that thing, or if I can wrangle in some of the team. It is Christmas Eve, and I will not force any DFS Army people to work on Christmas Eve. Of course, I will be working. I don't rest, so I will be working.
Someone's got to keep the doors open.
Got to pay the bills. But yeah, we will be doing a Christmas Eve 3-game slate breakdown, and you'll be able to watch it whenever. You don't have to see that live if you're having the 7 fishes dinner.
You might have to strap up the Santa suit for that one. At least get the Santa hat on.
A little hat. Get a little hat going.
Christmas theme. Okay.
Probably have that floating around here somewhere. So we've got everything covered. It's a fun week. I love a 3-game slate. I love a 2-game slate. I like those more than the main slates. I'm personally looking forward to those more. I love it, especially Monday. I have a very strong Christmas tradition that I might have to give up, like of Chinese food. It's a yearly tradition. But instead of going to the restaurant this year, we'll just bring the food to the house. That's called
Sounds great.
Planning for football. We don't mess around. 185 people in here, 7 likes, guys. We left this. You know what? We can't get those likes. I'm put the monetization back. Smash some commercials on you guys.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Sick of this. So put the monetization back on, Bobbywow. Get some commercials in there. You don't want me to put the monetization on. Come on, guys. You got to hit the like button. Let your friends know. Share it. Subscribe to the channel so we know that you're out there. Because the algorithm, when I turn off when we turn it off, it will not share it. It was not going to let you know that there was a video made. They don't want it. YouTube wants to make money. We're trying to deliver for free. So do us a favor, like, subscribe, notification bell, and we'll see you guys. Let's get some helmets to the top of these contests, guys. I want to see up top, helmets up. Take care. We'll see you next time.